What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So tomorrow we do have Bravely Default 2 coming out, and after checking out the demo that is already on the eShop, I am very excited to try this game out. But of course, as we see with like all of these big Switch releases, it has leaked online. No spoilers here, but just wanted to make sure you guys were aware so you could try to avoid them yourselves as we try to get through today and most of tomorrow when we can play the game. Also, we are going to be talking about a big sale on the PlayStation Store. Hundreds of different indie titles that generally be overlooked that are on steep discounts right now. And we're also going to talk about Cyberpunk 2077 once again, because somehow it's been delayed again. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if you're new to the Spawn channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And we're going to start today with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We knew that when Pyra and Mythra were announced in this most recent direct that we would eventually have a Mr. Sakurai Presents where he would show us how the characters played. Looks like we now know when that will happen. We can head over here to Twitter. This from Nintendo, where they say, tune in on March 4th at 6 a.m. Pacific time for an in-depth look at the new Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC fighter, Pyra and Mythra, with director Masahiro Sakurai. He will also reveal the fighter's release date. And just to make sure everyone's expectations were correct, we can see Nintendo of America followed up and said, the presentation will be roughly 35 minutes long, and there will be no further new fighter announcements. So there you go. I guess Sora will have to wait for another day. And these are always enjoyable. Even if you're not super into Smash Bros. Ultimate, Sakurai still goes really in depth with these characters. And what I really like is he explains why he developed the characters the way that he did. And he even goes that in depth on a character maybe he's not that interested in. Like Steve, I don't know. I feel like Sakurai's probably more interested in some of the other characters outside of Steve, but he still went all the way through it, had some really cool information in there, and it's always interesting to see him play against himself with the two different Pro Controllers. That requires quite a bit of skill. So there we go. Next week, we'll see what he has in store for us with Pyra and Mythra and when they're coming out. You think they'll do a shadow drop or maybe just wait till the following week? Or do you think he'll do something like he did with Sephiroth maybe and have some kind of event set up to where you can get them early? A lot of possibilities here. Also, we did get that reveal and release date for Star Wars Republic Commando. We talked about this when it leaked out early after it got an update on Nintendo's own servers, and that showed up online. But you can see some of the trailer here. This does look like what I was expecting. Basically, the original Xbox game, just kind of upscaled and cleaned up and all of that. But this is from Aspire, as we saw with the leak, and it will be available April 6, 2021. According to the trailer, it's coming to the Switch and the PlayStation, which I guess if it's on the PlayStation 4, backwards compatibility for the PS5, that's fine there. I mean, from what they showed, it's what I was expecting. It's $14.99. I think that's a fair price for Republic Commando, and it is a very good game. I would like to see more people try it out because I think this could be something maybe they try with a more recent release. Maybe EA, I mean, anyone could technically do it now, but like EA could make maybe a newer Republic Commando, and who knows, maybe let's just see how many people would even be interested in that. But if you have never tried this game or even heard about it, you know what? I think it's worth checking out. That is a little over a month away from release now on the Switch and the PlayStation. Oh, and you remember yesterday we were talking about how Kenna Bridge of Spirits maybe could go to PlayStation Plus in March when it's supposed to be slated for release, so it would just release on the PlayStation Plus, like we saw with Destruction All-Stars very recently. Well, it looks like they've replied on Twitter after this was being talked about online, and you can see their response here. They say, a rumor is just a rumor until announced by our official site and social channels. Interestingly, though, they did not say, no, that's not happening. Well, you'll get more information when the time's right and we release like normal. They kind of avoided the question a bit while still trying to just keep everybody hyped up for when they do talk about it, which we assume is today. And I mean, we haven't seen anything about PlayStation Plus for March yet. We just saw games with gold, and I'm not even covering it today, so that tells you the quality of that one. But I think it would be cool to have Kenna Bridge of Spirits drop in PlayStation Plus. That means they got the check from Sony, and a lot of people would try it out, probably more than would have otherwise. And there's also rumors about Final Fantasy VII Remake maybe going into PlayStation Plus for March as well. That'd be a pretty serious lineup, but I guess they just had Destruction All-Stars and Control Ultimate, so you never know. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start with Bravely Default 2 right away. Out tomorrow, looking forward to it. And like I said, if you have not really looked into this game too much or tried the other ones, I recommend checking out the demo. What Square did was put the demo out, and it appeared that they were looking for feedback. They did like the final demo, so that's probably the best way, obviously, you can gauge if you would like the game. Just check out the demo. But I'm very happy with some of the things I'm hearing from this initial review out of Famitsu. First though, we have to cover this. Did it get a better score than Sonic Forces? Very important. Sonic Forces got a 35 out of 40 with Famitsu. That's right. They were very, very lenient with Sonic Forces, but it gives us a barometer whenever a game comes out, and we can see if it was able to score above that, and it looks like it did. It scored a 36 out of 40, so it got a point above Sonic Forces, but apparently it got 9s across the board as they have 4 different people reviewing or judging the game with Famitsu, and it was 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10. But as we can see here from VGC, they do go a bit more in depth after it was translated by Ryu over there on their website, and they mention, according to Famitsu, the praise was really around the storyline, which they really seem to enjoy, and the classic RPG style with old-fashioned charm, but it has been adjusted for more modern play. And this is just exciting stuff to get this game onto the Switch now and see this series continue on. So looking forward to that one. But naturally, like any Switch title that seems to come out, a big Switch release that has a lot of marketing around it, it has leaked out. And this one, I think, is a bit more concerning than something like Bowser's Fury. Yeah, that leaked early, but it's like, what are they going to spoil there? This is a bit different because here's Famitsu now talking about the story being good, being something that actually pulls you through the game. It's not this really weird and annoying storyline. No, it is interesting. So that seems like it's set up very, very easily for someone to start spoiling online. I was alerted to this yesterday and I went to verify. Yes, it is out there. Naturally got the little paperclip and you're off and running there. Probably broke street date and then was just ripped and then dropped online through the usual channels and all of that. So I'm just bringing it to your attention so that if you see people talking about it on a forum or on a Twitter post or something, and you see them talking about like the story, back away from that if you're looking to play the game starting tomorrow. It's just, we got to get through today and like halfway through tomorrow until we can pick the game up and start playing through it. But I expect other reviews maybe to start going up today. I don't know if Square would hold reviews until release day. That would be a little concerning. So here's hoping it goes up today, gets a solid Metacritic score, and we can look forward to it releasing tomorrow, hopefully spoiler-free. Next up, let's talk about the big PlayStation Store sale, this being the PlayStation Indies sale. It's going to be running from now, it's live immediately right now, you can go check it out, until March 11th. So we have a couple of weeks here to look through all these different games, hundreds and hundreds of games. I was going through page after page. You know what? There's some very good games on sale here that people may have overlooked, and now they see it like 70% off and it's like $5 or $6. Like, why not try it out? So I picked a few games out here that we can go over, and you can see some of the pages of the sale as we go through this, starting with Cuphead. That's $15, 25% off. Little Nightmares Complete Edition. You may have seen some talk around Little Nightmares 2. The first one here, Little Nightmares Complete Edition, is $7.50, a 75% off. Not a bad entry there into the series. Hollow Knight is at an absolute steal at $6, 60% off. Castle Crashers Remastered, which is an awesome game for some couch co-op, $9, that's 40% off. Outer Wilds is $15, that's 40% off there. Samurai Jack, $24 at 40% off. The Messenger, which is an awesome game, and more people should be trying this one out, $10, that's 50% off. Guacamelee 2 is $4.60, that's 80% off. And then Moonlighter is $8, that's 60% off. So I always really like these indie sales because indie games are already pretty cheap compared to like obviously the bigger $60 or $70 games, and they tend to try some interesting ideas, mechanics, things that a lot of times the big AAA companies will then be like, oh, that did work. We're gonna pull from that smaller game there. But when we see these sales come around, I mean, you can clean up for like $30 or $40. You get a ton of different games. You look at Hollow Knight, which out of this list, Hollow Knight is probably the big one. I mean, it's $6. If you want a good challenge, really fun 2D side-scrolling style game, that's a good one to grab. Otherwise, though, I would say look at The Messenger, $10 there for a game that I really liked. I think it's a cool take on the platforming genre, and the transition from 8-bit to 16-bit is still really cool to see after seeing it so many times now. But those are some really good pickups there. You have a couple of weeks to check things out. And of course, if you go through this and you see a game that's marked down really, really heavily and you think it's one that people should check out, go ahead and list it down in the comments. Next Next up, let's talk about Anthem, or Anthem Next. We talked about a little while ago in a story that Jason Schreier had put out there about how apparently EA was going to evaluate how Anthem Next was shaping up and if they were going to put more resources in attempting to reboot Anthem. Well, it looks like they are not going to do that, and basically Anthem and Anthem Next have been canceled. We can head over here to a post that BioWare put up where they say, in the spirit of transparency and closure, we wanted to share that we've made the difficult decision to stop our new development work on Anthem, aka Anthem Next. We will, however, continue to keep the Anthem live service running as it exists today. Game development is hard. Decisions like these are not easy. Moving forward, we need to laser focus our efforts as a studio and strengthen the next Dragon Age and Mass Effect titles while continuing to provide quality updates to Star Wars: The Old Republic. So, okay, in that case, yeah, we don't need Anthem. If this is going to make Dragon Age and the next Mass Effect better, yeah, okay, goodbye Anthem. I think that's how a lot of people are looking at this, because I didn't really see anyone talking about Anthem anyway, and really, my biggest thing with this is you'd have to change the name. Like, Anthem was so ingrained in our minds as being this massive flop when it came out, and all the issues that we heard about with development struggles, it just, I don't think it was going to be something that was going to be salvageable, and EA must have seen that themselves. It is interesting to think about what they were planning on doing. Like, what could they have done with Anthem Next to really change that game around? Because the best part for me about the game was like the flying, like going out and then the jumping off of the ledge and then just soaring around like Iron Man. That's the coolest part. Not the gameplay necessarily when you start fighting, not the looting, basically nothing, visuals, but like otherwise that was like the coolest part. And the fact that I don't even think that was going to be in there originally based on some of the stories is, it's telling. I think I would have at least preferred to see them try Anthem Next just to see, but EA must have decided, you know what, no, BioWare, all of you have to be dispersed, and we have to start working on the next Dragon Age, make sure that's solid, and we have to make sure Mass Effect is very, very good, and they make quite a bit of money from the Old Republic, so makes sense why they would also shift resources there. And like I said, I don't think anyone's really going to miss Anthem if it means that Dragon Age and Mass Effect can get better. But there we go. I guess we can now close the book on Anthem. And it's another warning sign for a lot of these companies when it comes to these live services. There's always this plan to put a game out and then fix it later. But here we are with Anthem, and it didn't work out too well. And in our last bit of news, speaking of fix it later, let's talk about Cyberpunk 2077, because we're supposed to have several patches. Remember, they put that whole roadmap out, basically saying, hey, the game wasn't great when it came out. We know. We have all these cool things lined up, and hopefully by next Christmas, everything will be back to normal, and you guys will be able to play it correctly with a PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series patch, because we still don't have that. We're still playing the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 version of the game. Anyway, it looks like the next patch has been delayed, and we can head over here to Twitter, where they say, while we clearly wanted to deliver patch 1.2 for Cyberpunk 2077 in the time span we detailed previously, the recent cyber attack on the studio's IT infrastructure and extensive scope of the update mean this unfortunately will not happen. We'll need some additional time. Our goal for patch 1.2 goes beyond any of our previous updates. We've been working on numerous overall quality improvements and fixes, and we still have work to do to make sure that's what you get. With that in mind, we're now aiming for release in the second half of March. It's not the news we enjoy sharing, but we want to make sure we launch this update properly. Stay tuned for more information as the time draws closer. Thank you for your continued patience and support. So this is how you know it's serious. It's not on a big yellow background. But I mean, did anyone really think that these patches would come out on time? They already kind of gave us like vague timetables for this when they showed the roadmap. And I looked at it and said, yeah, okay, we'll see about that one. But I guess being pushed to the back of March isn't that big of a deal. And you know what? The thing with this is I don't really see anyone caring too much about Cyberpunk, and I feel like they're just going to try to launch the game again on the PS5 and the Xbox Series systems later on this holiday, and here's hoping those work correctly out of the gate. But at this point, I'm seeing a lot of people online just really have this feeling of just fatigue around the news for this game. It's always delays, and it's just, the game still is kind of odd on like the PS4 Pro or the Xbox One X, and it's still rough on the Xbox One and the PS4 base models. And then outside of that, they have been releasing several like smaller patches and hot fixes to at least correct game-breaking bugs, but like the fact that even their roadmap they put out is just, the game came out way too soon. I mean, Sony still doesn't even have it listed on their own PlayStation Store from what I've seen, and Jim Ryan just took a shot at them, and it's still a mess, and we'll see if they're able to get this out at the end of March. I understand the idea that, yes, the hack that took place was very severe. We talked about how source code got out there, was being sold online apparently, and there was concerns around employee information getting out there as well. So obviously, there was a bit of a hiccup there, right, for design and programming, all of that. But still, it's just Cyberpunk with another delay, something we've kind of become used to. And before we go to the comment of the day, we're taking a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I just simply asked, is Final Fantasy 16 coming out in 2021? 16% of you said yes, it will be one of the big holiday titles. 84% of you said no, it'll end up in 2022. And you know what? This is interesting because there were talks and rumors about Final Fantasy 16 coming out sooner than people think or were anticipating, and I'm still not sure on that one, but we still have to come up with a holiday title for Sony. I guess Horizon Forbidden West is the big title, but if you look at it, it would be Ratchet and Clank and then nothing until Horizon. That would be it. I don't know. It's interesting to think about that. I mean, I guess Final Fantasy 16 could still come out in 2022 technically and come out earlier in 2022. It's going to come down to how long the game's actually been in development. And, well, we have a state of play today, and if they're going to try to put it out this year, it would be now. I just wanted to get some people locked in to see if maybe Sony and Square could surprise us. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from Success in Darkness saying, hoping to see some great games, but gonna temper those expectations. But man, I would be excited to see something Infamous related. You know what? So would I. I think Infamous now, I mean, 2014, that was Second Son, and we had First Light, which is kind of like the smaller like standalone or DLC kind of spin-off, right? It's 2014, so that's 7 years ago. You know what? I think it's time for a new Infamous game. Can you imagine how that would look on the PS5, by the way? Whew, that would look really, really good. And Sucker Punch, I guess, finished up Ghost, so maybe they're thinking, all right, I guess we could do another Ghost Tsushima, or we put that aside for now, maybe start working on some preliminary plans for a sequel to that, and we really go big on Infamous. I think it's time to get Infamous back. And again, State of Play would be a good time to show it. I mean, it's also a chance it wouldn't be coming out for a long time if Sucker Punch, you know, wrapped up Ghost of Tsushima and got that out and they turned to Infamous. That could be a game that would still probably be like 2 years off or something, but why not get the ball rolling on that one? Would really like to see Infamous get shown and revealed. That would be awesome. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button, it really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today. Where's Bravely Default 2? Are you trying to avoid all the spoilers, and are you picking it up tomorrow? Let me know about that. And then Anthem, now canceled. Are you surprised on that one? I feel like most people are not. And then Cyberpunk 2077 delayed once again, this time just their patches. Is this game going to have its big PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series patch this year? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.